fucking Jesus Christ, part 8. God, I forgot we were.
I told you we're gonna be here a little while, but this one's short, and it's here's the thing. All right, let's go back. Two shot for a minute. Part 8. We're gonna start in a minute. I got a big problem with part 8. I got a big problem with something that happened in part 5, I believe it was, last week, where we talked about Barry Weiss mentioning Alexei Navalny. That was my first indication that this has some type of oversight or overseeing of the intel community, and that this is all being allowed to be out. And that we're also, of course, there's got to be a trove of material that is not being let out, that we're still having hidden from us. Thank you so much, Elon. Don't think for 1 second that we're getting all of this. We're definitely not. I'm dying to see what's actually, being hidden. But we do know that the COVID files, of course, came out today. And we're not going to get to the COVID files today, but we are going to get to this one, and we're going to go get to 9, and then we'll stop tonight, and we'll get to boats. But this is crazy. This Li Fang thing. So, Twitter Files 8. How Twitter quietly aided the Pentagon's covert online PsyOp campaign. It just gets better and better. Despite promises to shut down covert state-run propaganda networks, Twitter docs show that the social media giant directly assisted the U.S. military's influence operations. No shock there. Why is my screen flickering? I don't know. Uh-oh. Twitter has claimed for years they make concerted efforts to detect and thwart government-backed platform manipulation. Here's Twitter testifying to Congress about its pledge to rapidly identify and shut down all state-backed covert information operations and deceptive propaganda. But behind the scenes, Twitter gave approval and special protection to the U.S. military's online PsyOp programs. Despite knowledge that Pentagon propaganda accounts use covert identities, Twitter did not suspend many for around 2 years or more, and some still remain active. In 2017, a CENTCOM official sent Twitter a list of 52 Arab language accounts that we use to amplify certain messages. The official asked for priority service for 6 accounts, verification for 1, and whitelist abilities for the others. Yes, this is unreal. The same day CENTCOM sent the list, Twitter officials used a tool to grant a special whitelist tag. Remember we talked about how Twitter could censor certain accounts, how they could boost others? This is what they're talking about. A special whitelist tag that essentially
provides...
They
not call it a whitelist?
Yeah, well...
Like, they couldn't call it a whitelist because...
They called it approved list, right? Or like, yeah.
Right.
Because of the colored notation, right.
Yes.
The same day, okay, that Twitter officials used a tool to grant a special whitelist tag that essentially provides verification status to the accounts without the blue check, meaning that they're exempt from spam and abuse flags, more visible, and likely to trend on hashtags. That's the boost. The CENTCOM accounts on the list tweeted frequently about U.S. military priorities in the Middle East, including promoting anti-Iran messages, promotion of the Saudi-U.S.-backed war in Yemen, and accurate U.S. drone strikes that claim to only hit terrorists. How are there any promotion of the Saudi-U.S.-backed war in Yemen? I want to see what messages are that actually promote that and act like it's a good thing that we're behind that. CENTCOM then shifted strategies and deleted disclosures of ties to the Twitter accounts. The bios of these accounts changed to seemingly organic profiles. One bio read Euphrates Pulse. Another used an apparent deepfake profile pic and claimed to be a source of Iraqi opinion. One Twitter official who spoke to me said he feels deceived by the covert shift. Still, many emails from throughout 2020 show that even high-level Twitter executives were well aware of DoD's vast network of fake accounts and covert propaganda and didn't suspend the accounts. Of course they didn't. For example, Twitter lawyer Jim Baker mused in a July 2020 email about an upcoming DoD meeting that the Pentagon used poor tradecraft in setting up its network and were seeking strategies for not exposing the accounts that are linked to each other or to the DoD or the USG. Wow. Again, here's our friend Stasia Cardile, another Twitter attorney, replied that the Pentagon wanted an SCIF and may want to retroactively classify its social media activities to obfuscate their activity in this space, and that this may represent an overclassification to avoid embarrassment. Wow, this is just rank stupidity. In several other 2020 emails, high-level Twitter executives and lawyers discussed the covert network and even recirculated the 2017 list from CENTCOM and shared another list of 157 undisclosed Pentagon accounts. Again, mainly focused on Middle East military issues. In a May 2020 email, Twitter's Lisa Roman emails the DoD with two lists. One list was accounts previously provided to us, and another list that Twitter detected. The accounts tweeted in Russian and Arabic on U.S. military issues in Syria, ISIS, and many also did not disclose Pentagon ties. What a surprise! Many of these secretive U.S. military propaganda accounts, despite detection by Twitter as late as 2020, but potentially earlier, continued tweeting through this year, some not suspended until May 2022 or later, according to records reviewed by Li Fang. In August 2022, Stanford Internet Observatory report exposed the U.S. military covert propaganda network on Facebook, Telegram, and Twitter, and other apps using fake news portals and deepfake images and memes against U.S. foreign adversaries. I think Alan McLeod also had some of that. The U.S. propaganda network relentlessly pushed narratives against Russia, China, and other foreign countries. We know about this. They accused Iran of threatening Iraq's water security and flooding the country with crystal meth and harvesting the organs of Afghan refugees. God, awful. The Stanford report did not identify all the accounts of the network. The one they did name was the exact same Twitter account that CENTCOM asked for whitelist privileges in its 2017 email. How interesting. One Twitter account. Interesting connection. Li Fang verified via Twitter's internal tools. The account used an AI-created deepfake images. We need...
Who are these people?
That's right. Who are these people? They're not real. In subsequent reporting, Twitter was cast as an unbiased hero for removing, quote, a network of fake user accounts promoting pro-Western policy positions. Media covered the story, described Twitter as evenly applying its policies and proactive in suspending the DoD network, which, of course, the reality is much more murky. Twitter actively assisted CENTCOM's network going back to 2017, and its latest 2020 knew these accounts were covert and designed to deceive and manipulate the discourse, a violation of Twitter's policies and promises they waited years to suspend. Twitter's comms team, of course, was closely in touch with reporters, working to minimize Twitter's role. When WAPO reported on the scandal, Twitter officials congratulated each other because the story didn't mention any Twitter employees and largely focused on the Pentagon. Conduct with the U.S. military's covert network stands in stark contrast with how Twitter has boasted about rapidly identifying and taking down covert accounts tied to state-backed influence operations, including Thailand, Russia, Venezuela, and others since 2016, except the United States. And there's a reported piece with more detail. Given more access to Twitter for a few days, he signed and agreed to nothing. Twitter had no input into anything he wrote. The searches were carried out by a Twitter attorney, so what he saw could still be limited. Okay, and this was published in The Intercept, which I'm not a big fan of. And Li Fang started a Substack. Even Glenn Greenwald has said that of anybody that was left at The Intercept, Li Fang was one of the better ones. But he's still working for The Intercept, and they're buddies with Bellingcat. So this whole thing to me is suspect.
Ew, gross.
This entire Li Fang portion, this entire Intercept printed portion, the entire Barry Weiss printed portion. I've got questions about the integrity of it to begin with. Others may not. I personally do, and I'm allowed to.